Hello, guys. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Daily Teachings. All right, guys. What an insane day today, guys. This was probably the biggest move the markets made, one for the history books, and all thanks to Trump. Um, and we nailed it. We literally nailed it. The community made insane gains. The patients paid, but it was systematic. It was systematic. We'll talk about it. I'll show you how the community nailed it today. A few 12% people were red, but overall insane day in the community. So it wouldn't be insane if you do not follow the education and if you do not follow the system. But anyways, we'll cover all that. Before I start, let's do a quick introduction. Quick introduction for anybody who's new to my YouTube, new to my Twitter accounts, or new to our community. All these trade recaps and all these teachings are anything that I share on X, YouTube, or my community, be it a trade, investment, or swing trade. We trade a repeatable system called Ripster EMA Cloud System that thousands of traders across the world use to trade consistently, to make money in the stock market, and keeping losers small, less risk, and having winners big. So that's what we do. So every morning, me and my team, we create a game plan for the day. You can see my game plan today. We have earning plays, we have upgrades, downgrades, we have news plays, we trade index stocks. We make a game plan. I create a game plan in the morning. So I create a game plan in the morning, and we have initial bias. And we trade with that bias. And we will cover all the setups. I will show you all the setups. I give a support and resistance and initial game plan. I give this live to the traders in the morning. Then we have our day 2, day 3 setups. We have our day 2, day 3 setup. This is another repeatable strategy that I have been teaching the traders. I did a free webinar on this as well. And I also, I teach you guys in all my YouTube recaps and videos. We talk about that as well. So in addition to that, we also share the levels for futures. If you are a future trader, you can come and trade with us. I provide these levels of future levels, and then we provide the system with which you can know when to buy, when to long, or when to short, when to sell. In addition to that, we also have a crypto watch. We have our crypto stocks. We'll recap our coin and MSTR moves today. And we also have our daily levels for indexes, ETFs, and the big 7 stocks. So you can trade those stocks as well in the community. We also provide low float watch list. We trade IPOs. We have a bunch of tools in our community. We have 3-4 option flow scanners, which tells us if there's a strong flow. We saw that flow coming in today. We also have stock scanners. We have breaking news alerts, stock scanner audio alerts. We got the news today way before anybody else. So we'll talk about that as well. I'm on the voice in the community the first few hours of the market open, guiding through traders through the trades, any trade I'm taking or any trade I'm not taking. But we follow the game plan. Thousands of traders in the community are on the trading floor all day, sharing trade ideas, finding opportunities for everybody to make money in the markets, keeping our losers small, winners big. We have free tools worth $500, $600, which are freely available in the community with so many resources. Just our news bot today, traders made multiple 5 figures because of the timely alert by our news bots. So we'll discuss all that. We'll talk through all that. So that's a quick introduction. Let's start with today's recaps. So today, only 12% people in the community were red. Only 13% were flat. So we were 75% of the community, 74% of the community was green today. And it was not just by fluke. We follow the system, the things I teach you every day. So guys, SPY today, market made insane candle. I have never seen such a huge candle in SPY in long time. These are some life-changing opportunities that you only get sometimes, and that's what happened. The squeeze was just insane. The stock market moved, insane amounts today, trillions of dollars. SPY moved $52 today. That's like 300% of the average ATR of the SPY right now. So insane volatility in the market. So let's see what was the plan on the market. Let's look at the initial morning plan, and then we'll deep dive into the big day that happened middle of the day. So the morning on the market, if we just want to talk about market and the futures, was pretty muted, right? What was our plan? So let's go look at our plan. So our plan was pretty simple. VIX levels 46, 50, 54. Only long the market if VIX breaks 46, 50. Bearish market over that. Watch the yields. Also watch the pre-market lows. Amateur plus 10 AM concepts. So that was our plan. So I was not really trading the market SPY QQQ in the morning because the market didn't really go anywhere. It tried to push into 10 AM. You can see that rejects this MTF cloud right here, and then it was a chop, right? So we actually did that 512 short. If you see that 512 short from 497 to 493. At that time, I told traders, watch out. There is this opening price. Opening price, where the market opens, that's called the opening price. Market held that opening price. Right, so market held that opening price, goes higher, held that market price, pushed higher, and then it went into this chop under this downtrend line. So that was the story of the market all day. I actually told traders to not to do anything. Told traders not to do anything. Be careful. But before the big news hit, we were waiting for another catalyst. So let's look at that. So today there was a bond auction, right, at 1 p.m. Eastern. I share a calendar. We have a calendar in the community where we know that there are key events that can affect the market. The bond auction was really important today because the bonds have been dipping hard. The yields have been, yields been moving to the upside. So we were watching the bond auction. So I alerted everyone 20 minutes before that, watch out for the bond auction, right? So what happens next? So let's see here. So let's look here carefully and see what was happening actually on the market. So once we were short here, once it went into the chop, we were out of everything. Then you see that SPY QQQ was bouncing on the opening price. That's really important to understand here. Then what happened? We stopped out of the short, and then we just waited. And then when the bonds hit, the SPY and QQQ started to push higher. Let's look here. So we can see that we had this 512 curl. So this is called 512 curl. So this is your first long signal. Although we were not long, I was not long, but this was your first long signal to long right here. Then the bonds came in. The bonds came in and the market swiped up. The bonds came in, the market swiped up. But you see, this is the Ripster MTF clouds. These are the Ripster MTF clouds. So I told the traders that if you are long, put your stops under that 512s. This was the first 512 call, the first 512 call. Then hits the news. So let's see here. So the news. So we actually got that pause news on the voice way before, right? So everybody was already trading those long setups on the MTFs. You see this MTF breakout, this MTF breakout. So we were already, everybody was trading that setup. But as soon as we hit the news, as soon as we saw the swipe, there was some kind of focused on China news. But when the traders read what the real news was, it was the pause of the tariffs for 90 days. That's when we got our MTF cloud breakout. You see this MTF cloud breakout, and you see the price alerts going in, MTF breakout. So what did I tell the traders? Those who were long. Let's see here. Even before the MTF breakout, you see why the bond yields are important. If VIX breaks 47, we will see a continued push from that 512 long. We'll talk about Tesla, NVDA later. So that was it. But as soon as I see the news, everybody in the community long the market. Let me see, maybe I can show you here. So as soon as the news came, right, so I said long. I told the traders to long. Of course, most of the traders in my community, they already know how important this news is. We got a sample a few days ago where it was a fake rumor of the pause, and you see what market did that day. But today was the real news, and Trump actually tweeted about it. So I told the traders, you can long it. I made sure you do not size too much. You can size small size. Do not go crazy size. So the targets I gave everyone on that long were, let's look at my targets that I gave here. Maybe let's see if I can find those targets. Let's see if I can show you the targets we gave here. Let's see here. So the target, first target I gave was the 460, right? So the first target I gave was 460 and on QQQs, and the second target was 464. We'll talk about it. Why is that? I did tell the traders, hold, be patient, wait for the pullback. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Let the size small so you're not nervous. So this was the MTF breakout, and this was anyways our long setup. We already had a long setup from the bond auction that I just showed you. So we further longed it. Yes, it was chasing in some cases, but chase what you're comfortable with. I personally was trading options. I was willing to lose money there, but the options went crazy. And we had an upper MTF, right? Why did I give the 464 target? If you see that, I gave the targets way ahead. When we were trading at 450, I gave the 460 target. Then I gave the 464 target, which was right at the MTF. This is called the MTF magnet setup. So what does this MTF means? So MTF means that our 1 hour has turned bullish. So this is a long, and bond gave us that long bond auction, and then next MTF, which is a daily 20 EMA, that's our next MTF, 2021 EMA. So that's why the traders held through. That's why all the traders held through. Amazing day. Let's look at the options. Why this was one of the crazy days. I mean, traders literally today made, grew their account exponentially. Greg grew his account 32%. Govind made 22,000. Sanju's account was up 30%. David doubled his account. Steve was in a community second day green. Fen went 300%, right? Lowell made his biggest, gain for 50 years, right? So why is that? Why is that? I don't usually talk about the money. I do not usually talk about the P&L, but I'm trying to show you the power of executing at the right time, being in the right place, and following your system, understanding, right? I continuously talk about it. Understanding the macro environment, understanding the news, right? So how bullish the news was. There was no short in the market. There was no short in the market. So the key is to understand that, right? I told the traders to be patient, right? Don't panic. There was another 512 calls. Let's look at here. Once my 460 target met, then we hit our 464 target. You can see that 464 target met. And then we were holding the 512s. Let's look here. So you can see there was another call at 512s, market 512 calls right here. And there was another long. And you long, if you miss that, you take this, right? So those are how the crazy gains were. We'll look at options in a minute, but I always tell you to trade leverage ETFs. You could trade TQQ. From 46 bucks, it went all the way to 53 bucks, right? So you could risk a little bit. Let's say you buy at 46. You risk 100 shares, you risk 500, and you made 1,000. If you risk 1,000, you made 10,000, right? So that's kind of the trades you need to do. The leverage ETFs, like QLD. You could buy QLD. If you have a small account, you could buy SPXL actually. So that one went from 104 to 125. I mean, there's some smaller leverage ETFs. So there's so many opportunities to make those life-changing profit. And you do not short it. And you need to understand, you see both SPY went from MTFs to MTFs, QQQ went to MTFs. That's why I gave these targets. That's why the traders had 1,000% gains today. You see the Kuber had 1,000%, Gabriel had 1,000%, Trader 45 had 1,000%. There's so many examples I can show you, but these traders are not just blindly buying. They're just not buying because I'm telling them to. They know the system. They know the clouds are breaking out. They know our risk is at 512. They know there's MTF above. They know that how big this news is based upon the research and understanding. A lot of traders were like, oh, it's a pump, it's going to drop, it's going to drop. No. When trend is holding strong, we can continue to push. That's why all the targets met. So let's look at these QQ calls, right? You don't have to trade 0 DTEs. You can trade next ones. So those went from $3-4 to 17 bucks, right? Even that was great. You could trade SPX, you could trade NVDA, you could trade Tesla, whatever you want to trade, you can trade it. But you know that a system is telling us, and we have this news, and we know. So that's the beauty of the community. So trade in a community, use these tools. You don't have to be in my community, but make sure you use these tools. You use the system, so you can make these life-altering gains. Navy Vet had 47,000 today. Explorer turned his account to 77% up. Jared has been trading 28 years. That was his best trade ever. Wes made his account 400%, right? David went to calls to 2800%. Andrew took his account 18% for the day. So, I'm not showing this to say, oh, look, money, because we can lose this money similar way. I always tell people to preserve. What I'm talking about, these opportunities, you need to be ready. This is not possible if you don't have a working system. You can't just blindly, because if you blindly made money today, you're going to lose it tomorrow. And don't be FOMO that you missed today's run. Market is still going to be here. We're still going to be making these profits. But today was an A+ day to make most of it. And that's why the traders are changing their lives with education, be it the folks who are following education from somebody else, my free education that I teach you guys every day. Even if you're not in community, you should be understanding the cloud MTF longs to the MTFs. So use these tools I provide you, and hope you guys, if you missed it today, one of these days you make these life-changing or once in a lifetime trades. So let's look at the other trades today we did. Let's start with AMD. Let's look at AMDs today. So what was happening on AMD? So AMD, let's go here. Let's go back to our morning plan. So AMD was on our watch list today, because TD Cowen lowered it's the prop PT and it was gapping down. MTF above, trade with Sammy, no go under 76, 512 call watch. I was really interested in AMD because AMD was already beaten before the market tanked. AMD was almost the worst stock, and then now it was trading at $76. Yeah, it really low valuation. So I knew the investors are going to jump in. So as soon as the market opened, I told everybody long some AMD. So let's see what AMD did here. So AMD, we longed right away, initial stop 79, and then we pushed to the 84. So we already made like $4 on AMD in the morning. You can see the timestamped guidance, right? We kept moving the stops up. AMD kind of stopped out and then reclaimed. That's when I said 512 bounce. So when it 512 bounce, you get long again on AMD. And the traders on AMD, they were those who were still in, they got lucky with the news, because we are holding this 512 calls, and then we get an MTF breakout on AMD. So even if you held 100 shares, or you made $1,000, right? This market is insane, guys. You do not get such markets again and again and again. So understand why we were long, why we got lucky. We would not have been long if it was bearish, right? Like yesterday, the system was bearish. Today, the system was bullish, right? So you can look at any lotos. Let's look at 85 lotos. Let's look at 85 lotos. You don't have to trade the options, right? So you can still make the profits with, but I'm just going to signify the importance of options on a day like today. Those which were trading at $1, they went all the way to $13, 400-500% gains, right? And you don't need to, the key is you don't need to size. When I say size, let's say you're buying here at $2. You don't want to put your whole portfolio of, let's say, 20 grand there. You buy for $500. You buy for $1,000. Your $1,000 turns into 6,000-7,000. Your account is up 30-40%. That's how you do it. Something that you are fine with losing. No greed, no big size. That's why I told everybody. So anyways, home run trade, AMD, once in a lifetime setups. Beautiful. Let's go to the next one. So let's look at Tesla. So Tesla was something we were long in the morning. It didn't work in the long in the morning, and it pulled back. We stopped out, and I stepped away. But then Tesla, what Tesla did was Tesla came bullish again. So when Tesla became bullish again, you can see that how we were long in Tesla in the morning versus 225. Actually, it never broke 225. So you can always use the 3450s stops if you want. But once it reclaims here, it gets a long again. You see this? I sent this alert that 231, 512 reclaim. So that becomes a long again. And then you can put your stops at 229 wherever you want. Then it tested the MTF, then it broke the MTF, and then I gave the traders the stops as 232 on Tesla. 232 stops on Tesla. Target I gave traders was 250 on Tesla on the next. And the next target I gave Tesla was 255. And, we eventually hit 260 and 270. And after hours, we hit 276. So no BS, guys, no hindsight. Everything is in front of you. The system is in front of you. The MTF breakout is in front of you. And you can do this. You don't have to, buy somebody's alerts. You don't have to, pay somebody to tell you where to buy, where to sell. If you know the system, yes, you're welcome to join the community, learn from my guidance, but eventually you should be responsible for your success. This is why the traders are made those double 5-figure days. This is why the traders made what they made on today's big push. It's not just a fluke. It's a system that we follow all day long. Let's go to the next one. So let's look at next one. And of course, I can show you Tesla options as well. They went crazy. You can always trade TSLL. From $7 to $10, the easiest trade, trading TSLL. Leverage ETFs always pay you pretty well. So TSLL was a good one. All right, so everything went. I'm not going to cover everything. Traders were long everything. I'm going to cover the trades I was guiding since morning. So another trade I gave long in the morning was NVDA. MTF long in the morning to the traders. Let's see here. And the power of NVIDIA was there was a lot of flow. We were watching a lot of flow coming in all day on NVIDIA. So I gave the long, and then we stopped out midday. We got out, and then it became a long again. You see that reclaim? So initial risk I gave in the morning was 98. So NVIDIA reclaimed right here, $99 over 100. Let's look at the game plan. So game plan NVIDIA was long MTF and 100 push if the market's strong. Long MTF and 100 push. What did NVIDIA do? Pushed over 100, became a long, and MTF breakout became a long. At that time, I gave the traders a stop of 100 on NVIDIA because that was the trade for NVIDIA. And as you know, I guided when the market is long, so traders were trading it. 110 was the first target, and NVIDIA actually hit 115. So that was a NVIDIA trade, guys. Let's look at the next one. Next one was SOXL, and that trade was after the news. So I gave that trade to the traders after the news. SOXL was a long after the news hit. Right here at 1050, your risk was what, 50 cents. And SOXL, the for target was 12 and 13. Those were my two targets. They all met. Pretty self-explanatory. I didn't have to trade Taiwan Semi, AVGO, individual names. I can just buy 2,000 shares of SOXL, and I can make 4 or 5 grand at the end of the day and be done with it. But you could trade individual names. You need to understand that Taiwan Semi, AVGO, all these names are part of the SOXL, and it was all about the MTF clouds today, guys. Even if you didn't trade the news, you traded the MTF clouds right here, you made insane amount of money, right? And I keep saying money. You don't see me often talk about money. It's about the growth, right? The day like today, you will grow. Losers small, winners big. Now you see the traders who made 20 grand, 30 grand. I told them you should not be losing more than a few $100s tomorrow if you lose, because this was your big day, which will keep your month green, So that's how you do it. All right, let's look at some other names today. There were some setups that I gave in the pre-market, which were regardless of the market, what it did. LEVI is always a day 2 setup. You see we always focus on anything that had earnings yesterday. We were short on LEVI yesterday, but today was a LEVI 512 long, and you could get back in here on LEVI, and it was a nice trade there. So another names, there was a Lilly. We were short Lilly in the morning. Once you can see here what Lilly did. So Lilly, we were short versus 700. We hit 690. That was my target. Stops were 698. Once it stopped us out, we were out. But you can see that traders long Lilly as well in the community, because this 512 call longs, 3450 calls longs, and Lilly went on to rip $50 as well. So you can see the opportunities in the market, and we don't get squeezed because we know where our stops are. Our system tells us, and we are out. So let's look at next ones. Next one we're going to look at is Delta Airlines. I mean, with such a big moves, these are regular plays we would have regardless we were playing those. So Delta Airline was our earning play, neutral to bearish, only long if 3450 holds. And right out of the gate, Delta was pretty strong, and that's why I told the traders you can long it versus 3650. Push, pull back, again, another long. Held the 3450 clouds, held this level. Was a nice trade as well. So we have other plays on our game plan today as well. Walmart, Costco, all those were great setups. Let's look at Walmart game plan here. So the plan on game plan on Walmart was long 512 calls if 81 holds. So this was the plan that I gave in the pre-market. I highlighted as a red. And you see that the Walmart pushed right out of the gate, became a long, MTF long here. Your stops are here. If you want to learn these setups, just start to enter. Don't really care, just start to enter. So I gave the target 87 initially. That was my morning target. We hit that target middle of the day, and it was a beautiful trade. Pre-market guidance, a lot of my guidance is on the voice. You can see my target I gave at 10 a.m. met, never broke the clouds. I told traders to buy this 84 dips. So there's literally so much you could do, guys. Whenever market is ripping, you need to focus on coin, MSTR, Bitcoin names. There was no long earlier, but this was a nice long here at MTF clouds. You could see it. It's similar to the market. If market is strong, coin, MSTR both are strong, right? So those were that ones. There were many other plays. I could literally cover everything from our game plan today, but just want to show you that how we have the plays on our watch list, like UNH was there. You see that did the same thing, pushed, held the clouds. Your ultimate risk is 3450. APP, flushed, becomes a short, becomes a long here. You can see how market trades, right? So how everything becomes bullish altogether. So you can see this was all on our plan. We had Chinese name as well. Baba was China names were there on our watch list as well. We shorted those China names. You can see initially it was not, but once it break 110 AM, it became a short. And then we closed the short at 98.40. You can see here, and then it became a long. So those were China names, guys. So yeah, that was it, guys. Hopefully you guys did great as well. If you did not, do not be sad. Market is not going anywhere. We're going to have such days again. We're going to kill it again. Keep learning from my education. Comment if you need anything. DM me on Twitter. Feel free to join the community. Thank you so much. If you liked today's video, make sure you like at least, I guess. I never ask it, but hopefully you can do it. Thanks. Bye.